Hi, everybody. Today is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? It's Wednesday, September 11th. And today is going to be kind of a short video because sometimes when you're teaching, you have a plan and then things just happen naturally in class and it's better than what your plan was. So that's what happened today. Let me kind of try and explain what we did because I want you to do the same thing, and it has to do with going back onto that Mars trek. So scroll down here to today's folder. It's a combination folder for Tuesday and Wednesday. So when you open that up, you're going to see that we've got that link for Mars trek. Go ahead and open that. And then if you remember, you're going to have this flat two-dimensional view of Mars. Okay, friends, this is where the magic happened. I had the kids log on, and my intention was to go through it, highlight some things, and then take notes, and then do another activity and take notes. And it turned out that this activity of looking at Mars became really a beautiful example of learning, because the kids were teaching me things about how the computer program, the simulation works. And I'm going to share them with you. But it was absolutely wonderful because it's a perfect illustration of, if you are a kinesthetic learner like me and probably 90% of my 7th grade class, we learn by doing. And what I did yesterday is I took you to this website and I showed you like the tutorial, and I kept saying, I don't know how this works, so we won't use that. Click next. I don't know how that works, so you don't use that. Click next. And what happened was there were some people that got on and were using it yesterday and just kind of exploring and messing around in it, and they figured out how to do stuff. And so just like that questionnaire question, if you have a new something on a computer program and you get it, what do? Well, the first thing a kinesthetic person is going to do is jump on and mess around and see what they can do. So I made everybody slow down, tell me step by step how to work this thing, and let's work it out. So I'm going to try and show you some things, and then tomorrow we'll go back and take notes over what I want to talk about, okay? So here's your two-dimensional view. First thing I want you to do is I want you to come over here to the globe, and I want you to click on three-dimensional, okay? And then we're going to come up here to the data. I said menu in class, and everybody was confused, and now I understand because it's data or data. And we're going to click on that. And remember, I want you to scroll down to the very first colored picture that you see. It's this MGS MOLA. So click that, and then we'll come down here and add it, and then exit out of here. Here we go. So I gave the kids about 3 minutes in class just to look around Mars, and let's talk about some different landforms. And if you are studying your vocabulary, which you should be, the test is going to be in about a week and a half, so make sure that you are ready for that test. A landform is a feature that forms on the surface of the rocky outer layer of a rocky planet. And so it's anything that the geosphere has been changed by some kind of a geologic process. And it could be flowing water, it could be flowing lava, it could be an earthquake, it could be a whole bunch of things, okay? So I had the kids just go around and look at some things, and I'm going to highlight a couple of them, okay? So one thing that somebody wanted to show, so here's Olympus Mons, if you remember, and those 3 mountains, okay? And then we've got this here. And I'm going to have you zoom in, and I'm going to go to it a little bit better. Let's go up. Okay. So here's something that we see that's really interesting. We see this landform where it goes from a high elevation to low elevation. So remember, the yellow is higher than the green, and the green is higher than the blue. So we've got this really gradual decrease in elevation. But then we've got this landform that kind of cuts through it. And I asked the kids to start using adjectives to describe it. So we don't want to say it looks like something, because that's not very scientific. If somebody says it looks like, I don't know, somebody said it looks like sprinkles on a donut, not this, but something else. And I said, yeah, but if you're talking to somebody who's never had a donut, sprinkles, and they've never seen that, they wouldn't know what you're talking about. Another example of this is we were looking at something, this one right here. I'm going to show you this one first. All right, so we were looking here at this little fella. I'm going to zoom in. That guy. Okay. So we were looking at him and I said, okay, describe it. And somebody said, it looks like an eye. Well, here's the problem with that. The very first image I had of an eye is the outline, like the almond shape outline of an eye, like the whole eye. And so I'm like, that wouldn't work because you've got different people with different interpretations of what an eye looks like. I understand you're trying to tell me it looks like the iris of an eye or it looks like the pupil of an eye. But rather than saying it looks like something, let's talk about like some adjectives. Start with the shape. So we said it looks circular. And then I said, okay, zoom in a little bit more if you can. So we did. And I said, now, can you describe it a little bit further? What else can you say about it? And nobody talked anything. We did some prompting. And I said, okay, let's talk about the elevation. So the blue is a lower elevation, right? And green is higher. And we notice that we've got this green going around the outside of this circle. And so then we can say there's a higher elevation around the circle, okay? Talk to me about what it looks like. Is it smooth? Is it bumpy? And they said it's bumpy. And I said, okay, so we went through and we were talking about, is it wide? Is it narrow? Blah, blah, blah. Then the most amazing thing happened. Somebody said, hey, I'm able to look at it sideways. So if you put 2 fingers on the bottom of your iPad screen and you move it up, I can't do it on my computer. So this is, oh, shoot. I wonder if I'm going to be able to show you on my computer. If you move it up with 2 fingers, it's almost like you're going down to the street level and you can see it. Sometimes it will glitch on you. Just keep trying, refresh it, get out of it and come back in if you need to. Well, that helps a little bit, but something I want to show you is this right here. On the bottom right, do you see where I have terrain exaggeration? Okay. And every time I'm moving my cursor, see how the latitude and the longitude is changing? I want to look at this right here. So the latitude and longitude and the terrain exaggeration. If you actually come on and click on terrain exaggeration, right now it's at 1. I want you to change it. This is going to blow your mind. Change it to 20. And then come on out. What? Look at that. Now, I wish I could rotate it. Can I rotate it? Maybe I can. Let me look here. Can I change it? What was this right here? I forgot. Yes. Can I? Okay. I'm not going to be able to do it like that, but I'm turning it this way. Yes. See what that does? It changes our terrain so that now we can see it 3-dimensionally on the side. Let me see. Oh, I'm trying so hard to see that crater. Oh, phooey. You're going to be able to see it so much better on your iPad. I'm sorry. I was so excited to make this video, and now I can't. Like, it's not good because you can't. Oh, I'm frustrated. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here and zoom out and figure out where I am. This is where I told you guys if you get confused about where you're going or what you're doing, it's probably a better idea just to hit reset. And now I can figure it out. So hopefully you are in that terrain exaggeration of 20 and you're going to be able to see some really cool stuff. So let's go back up to this thing right here. Here's Olympus Mons and those 3 mountains. By the way, Olympus Mons, see how tall that is? See how big it is? It's huge. All right. So we're looking at this landform right here, this little guy. And we can see that it is formed by something. It's changed the geosphere somehow. And we can see that it looks like it is curvy. I'm looking at this. I don't know if you can see my cursor. But I'm looking at this thing that it starts here in the yellow. And then it kind of cuts through and it's green. And it looks kind of smooth on the edges. And then it comes down here and it goes around. It's created like this island. We talked about how this landform here is curvy. We would describe it as maybe narrow. We would describe it as smooth around the edges. We would describe it that it branches. So it's coming in one direction, but then it goes in different directions here. And that's what actually creates this landform of an island. And then it merges again. So all those 2 individual paths come together. And so then we were talking about, what do you think made that? And everybody's like, well, yeah, water, right? Well, I want to warn you about being really quick to your judgments. You may be surprised to learn that landforms can also be formed by flowing lava. And oftentimes they look the same if you're just looking at a picture of them. Okay? So we have to do a lot more investigation. We have to do a lot more digging. We looked at this thing here too. This. You can really see the elevation. It's better on your iPad, but you can see how that goes from a really high elevation. Remember, red is higher, and then it goes orange, yellow, green, blue. And you can see that this is a really steep, it has steep walls. And the blue elevation is low. Okay? Now, a great example of this might be on Earth, the Grand Canyon. Remember in the video how she was showing you what a canyon looks like? But canyons aren't always formed by, well, a canyon is formed by a river, but sometimes these fissures or these breakages are not formed by that. They're formed by something else, maybe an earthquake, maybe plate tectonics, right? So we have to be really careful about making a really quick assumption about what forms these landforms. If I told you, I don't know, I really don't know, but one thing that okay, stop moving. One thing that I know we talked about is, give me some arguments for it to being by water or being formed by water. And they said, well, if there was a lake or something up at the top, it would have been formed by water. Okay, great. What if it was formed by lava? What would make you think that? And then everybody was really quick to say, well, there are huge volcanoes. Remember those 3 volcanoes and Olympus Mons right near the area. And it looks like, if you look at the markings here, you can almost tell something went from this high elevation to a low elevation. We know like liquids flow from high to low, whether it's liquid lava or it's liquid water, something looks like it was flowing here and we don't know what it was. So then that led me to this. I'm coming back to my screen here, and I said, this is what we're going to be focusing on for the rest of the unit. While looking at satellite images of Mars, planetary geologists saw this channel. Now, this is a real satellite image from NASA. And this channel is one of the reasons why we have had decades of exploration on Mars. From satellite imaging to all of the rovers that have been on Mars. There was Curiosity, there was a rover before Curiosity, and then that new one. And so this is what they're like, okay, wait a second, we really need to dig into this. We need to find some more information about this, and we need to investigate this further. So this is what we are going to do. We're going to replicate their investigation. And our chapter 1 question is, what formed the channel on Mars? What formed the channel on Mars? Tomorrow, I will give you the notes for that. For right now, just understand this is our investigation, and I'm going to be showing this picture a lot. You guys are going to be taking a picture of this. There you go. Okay? All right. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.